Okay, so we continue now in our study of RUAE. The next thing that we're going to look at is going to be the effective introduction question. Okay, so the effective introduction question asks us to look, all right, at the beginning part of the text. Okay, we all know what an introduction is. Introduction just means the beginning of the text. So, an effective introduction question asks us to look at the beginning of the text, whether it's the article in our RUAE. We also could have this in our Scottish text. It could be asking us to look at the beginning of the poem, for example. So, anytime you see effective introduction, it's asking you it's asking you to look at the beginning of the text. Okay. Now, excuse me. Now, in terms of the actual focus, okay, in terms of what it is that we are looking for, okay, what it is that we are focused on, what we're looking for. What we're looking for, all right, is we are looking for how does the beginning of the text grab the reader's attention? Now, there are other things that we could look for in an effective introduction. Okay, we could look for example, how does this introduction set up the rest of the text? We could look at different things. How does this create a certain introduction to a certain technique or a certain theme, etc., etc. But in terms of the simplest thing to look for, simplest focus, what we're going to focus on is just how does the beginning of the text grab the reader's attention? Okay, now the way that we're going to do that, all right, is actually very simple. Okay, so here are your steps. Okay, there you go. Yes. So in terms of the steps, all you have to do, all right, is quote from the beginning. So quote something from the introduction. Then use this sentence, okay, as use it almost completely, or use it completely. The only thing that you need to change is just the technique. You just need to say what technique you're going to be focused on. So you quote something from the beginning, then you say, this acts as an effective introduction as it uses. And then you mention the technique. The easiest one, again, is just to use word choice. This acts as an effective introduction as it uses word choice. Other options would be sentence structure, imagery, tone, any of the techniques, yeah, any of the WIST techniques you could focus on. Word choice, imagery, sentence structure, tone. Then you say it does this to grab the reader's attention. And again, this sentence can be used again and again. This is like a starter sentence, or this is something that you can use just like in word choice. You had this relates to, this suggests. This is the same thing, okay? Then all you do is you explain, all right? You give a technique step, yeah? You give the step of the technique. Now, again, I recommend you use word choice because it's the easiest. And all you do here is you just, once you've picked a word, you said this acts as an effective introduction as it uses word choice to grab the reader's attention. Now all you do is you just say this word, yeah, this quote relates to, just like you do in word choice, and you give connotations. This quote relates to whatever, whatever. And then all you have to do, okay, it's so simple. You don't even have to do the final step of the technique. All you have to do, okay, is you just say this makes the reader want to know. And then you just say what the reader might want to know based on the quote, all right, based on what you've explained. And again, like I said, in terms of your options, the easiest is word choice. And then also you could do imagery, or sentence structure, or tone. Those are your other options. Okay. Now, in terms of an example, a very quick example, in terms of what this looks like. Okay. And what I should mention, all right, what I should say is in terms of the sort of amount that this question comes up, it doesn't really come up too much, okay, which is why I'm kind of not going into as much detail as I did with some of the other ones. This question, along with effective conclusion, the probability of it coming up is not too high. And if it does come up, at most it will be 2 marks. Likely, probably it will just be 1 mark. So don't spend too much time focused on this. Learn it, obviously, but spend most of your time and energy, again, on in your own words, word choice, and the comparison question. And then also, then after you've mastered those, then on the other big analysis type techniques, imagery, sentence structure, and tone. And then you can spend time on these, yeah. Okay, so an example, and this is based on the poem Basking Shark by McCaig. Some of you may be studying it. So the question would look something like this: how does the beginning act as an effective introduction? Okay, so from the poem begins to stub an oar on a rock, and so on, so on. So we just take the word rock, we quote from the beginning. Again, you see how the sentence is exactly the same as in your notes now. This acts as an effective introduction as it uses word choice to grab the reader's attention. Okay, so it uses word choice. Again, that's the technique. To grab the reader's attention, that's always what we want to focus on. So this, I'll just say this word, and you can even put in rock if you want to be sort of very specific. This word, okay, rock, relates to hard and solid. And this makes the reader want to know what the rock actually is. Okay, we just ask a very simple question, which you as a reader will have or may have when you read the text. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Okay, now to give you another example from the RUAE, from a past paper, from a close reading RUAE past paper. If we went to the beginning of this text, this is the introduction right here, okay? And we looked for something in here that we could talk about that would grab the reader's attention. We could talk about this, okay? So we could say 2 million dairy cows. All right, so I'll do an example answer with you right now. So how does this grab the readers? How does this act as an effective introduction? So let's do an answer together. Okay, I'm going to take the quote, 2 million dairy cows. 2 million dairy cows. There's my quote. Okay, I'm going to use word choice. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the word million. All right, I'm going to do that in a minute. So I'm going to say this acts as, literally just like the way you have it written down. This acts as an effective introduction as it uses, again, I'm going to use word choice to grab the readers. It's always this, yeah, this is always what we want to focus on because it's the easiest thing. Attention, okay. Now we just say the word million, and we can put it in quote marks so that we know it's from the quote. Okay, the word million, very good. The word million relates to, okay, a huge amount, massive amount, okay, and a large number, just like how you do in word choice, some connotations. Okay, now all we do is we finish it off. We just say this makes the reader want to know why there are so many cows in that location. Why there are so many cows in that location, which connects perfectly to the topic of the past paper, which is all about factory farming. It's all about animals, massive amounts of animals being put together. Excuse me, being put together, and how their lives are very bad because of that. So this is a good question, links to that, and it links to what is used in terms of million. So again, you see the structure, quote something, use word choice, to say this acts as an effective introduction. Then you zoom in on a word. This acts as an effective introduction, uses word choice, grab the reader's attention. Zoom in on one word, do your word choice connotations. This word relates to, give the connotations. This makes the reader want to know. Ask a simple question, okay, related to the word, which you've just broken down, and related to the sentence, the quote. Just read it again. Think about what might the reader want to know. You could also say this makes the reader feel, this makes the reader feel sad, makes the reader feel excited, whatever. Just something like that, something that is all you have to do for effective introduction. Okay, good.